Chapter 1. The Inner Transmitter. Sometimes it feels like you're drifting alone in the vast vacuum of your own life. You look around and everything seems fine, but inside, silence, emptiness, like someone's turned the volume of your soul all the way down. You can't hear yourself anymore. The signals that once came from within, passion, desire, drive, they're gone, and you don't know how to tune back in. It's easy in moments like this to spiral into philosophy, to sit and wonder, maybe nothing has meaning, or maybe I just don't want anything at all. But I'm inviting you not into philosophy, but into physics, not into speculation, but into the structure of the universe, not into esoteric mirages, but into something you can explain, feel, and apply. Albert Einstein once said, "Everything is energy. Match the frequency of the reality you want, and you cannot help but get it." This is not philosophy. This is physics. And that's hard to argue with. You're not just a body. You're a vibration. Every atom in you is oscillating. Just like the atoms in everything you see, we are energy condensed into form. And when you focus on something with real intensity, you're not just dreaming. You're recalibrating your frequency. You're strengthening the signal. But here's the key. This isn't some sugar-coated idea about just ask the universe and it will provide. This isn't magic, and it's not manifesting wealth while sitting in your underwear on a balcony. This is physics. When you're truly obsessed with a goal, you don't just see the world differently. You experience it differently. You start noticing things others miss. You react differently. You move with purpose. You grab opportunities. You take risks. You show up. At that moment, you stop being a passive observer and become an active participant in a reality you're creating with every choice, every action, every focused thought. This state of being isn't about wishful thinking. It's about being more certain than probability. Because as Nikola Tesla said, if you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. He didn't say luck, chance, and fate. He said energy. You are a generator. In the most literal sense of the word, you emit waves, and those waves either amplify chaos or attract order. And you don't need the glitter of mysticism here. You need honesty. You attract what you're tuned into, but only if you're actually tuned in. Only if you don't just want, but you're ready to act. This isn't the philosophy of some glitter fairy from Beverly Hills who attracts money by writing wealth on a mirror with lipstick. That's not how this works. The law of attraction isn't a cosmic ATM. It's you locking in on a goal so intensely that the world starts to open up in response because you finally started to see, to hear, to transmit, and only then the universe answers. Chapter 2. The frequencies we miss. When you're tuning a radio, you don't sit there shocked that your favorite station isn't coming through if you're spinning the dial the wrong way. You just know you're not on the right frequency. And honestly, that's one of the best metaphors for how we live our lives. People say, "Why am I so unlucky? Why doesn't anything work out for me?" But often it's as simple as this. They're just not tuned into the frequency where the desired reality exists. They want happiness, but every day they're locked onto the frequency of anxiety. They want love, but keep tuning into the broadcast of fear and rejection. They want money, but run a steady loop of self-sabotage. I'm not good enough. The truth is, everything in this world is frequency. Even emotions are vibrations. Joy, gratitude, inspiration, these are high-frequency states. Fear, apathy, envy, low-frequency ones. And you get to choose what station you live on. Not through affirmations or magical rituals, but through intentional control of your focus and your reactions. Because attention is leverage. It's how you transfer energy. Where your attention goes, your power flows. And if every day you're fixated on what you fear, then you're tuning yourself into the frequency of fear. And the universe, like a giant antenna, simply resonates with that signal and amplifies it. Have you ever heard of quantum entanglement? It's when two particles that were once connected continue to feel each other no matter how far apart they are. Change one, and the other reacts instantly, even if they're separated by kilometers. Do you realize what that means? It means everything in this universe is connected. We're part of a shared system. We don't just affect the world, we are the world in a literal physical sense. We're not separate from the universe, we're inside it, and it's inside us. When you shift your vibration, it's not just your perception that changes. The field around you changes. This isn't a metaphor. This is reality, backed by formulas, experiments, and observation. And here comes the turning point. If you truly understand that every choice, every thought, every emotion is a contribution to the world you're living in, you can't keep living on autopilot. You can't ignore your internal state anymore, because you'll know, right now, I'm programming my reality, not through new moon visualizations, but through clear, consistent signals, your actions, your thoughts, your vibration, in how you walk, how you speak, what you read, how you respond to difficulty. All of that is your frequency. All of that is your magnet. So the question isn't whether this works. It does work. The real question is, do you want to be the one tuning the dial or keep complaining about the static in your life? Chapter 3. The energy within and around us. If you could truly see how the world works, you'd realize that your emotions and thoughts aren't just abstract concepts. They're energy, real measurable energy. Every impulse you have, every emotion you feel, it's not just in your head. It's frequency, vibration, waves, and they don't stop at the edges of your body. Thoughts, words, intentions. These aren't wispy, intangible things. They are a form of substance that the universe actually interacts with. Einstein said, energy cannot be created or destroyed. It can only be transformed from one form to another. And when you grasp that, you realize something huge. You're not just sending energy out into the world. You're a conduit. The energy you create doesn't vanish. It stays with you. It moves through your consciousness, spills into the world through your actions, your emotions, and the responses you trigger around you. Have you ever thought about the fact that every breath you take isn't just keeping you alive? It's shaping your internal vibration. The way you react to what happens, the way your body feels in different states. There's a physical explanation for all of it. And better yet, you can influence it. You can shift your internal state through simple conscious actions. Here's one example. Every time you feel stress or anxiety, your body launches a response. It's not just a feeling. It's a full-on chemical shift. Your blood floods with adrenaline. You become hypersensitive to threats. Your focus narrows and you start seeing the world through the lens of fear. But when you shift your focus to positive intentions, to gratitude, growth, opportunity, your body reacts differently. It starts producing hormones of calm, connection, and joy. This isn't just psychology, it's biochemistry. These are real physical processes happening inside you. You are your own environment. You're the conductor of the orchestra that is your body and your mind. So the real question is, do you want to be the conductor of chaos, or are you ready to become the master of harmony? When you grasp this principle, you begin to see how even the tiniest inner changes ripple outward into your life. What happens in your body is nothing less than a reflection of your vibration. You're not just a human standing on earth. You're a powerful energy system, generating, amplifying, and transmitting impulses into the universe every second. And those impulses, they shape your reality. But don't forget, every impulse is more than just a thought. It's the action that follows. It's the steps you take toward your goals. It's the people you engage with. And every one of them reflects back the energy you give off. You can't force people to love you if you're not full of love yourself. You can't attract success if you're constantly doubting your own worth. The universe is a mirror. Whatever you send comes back. So remember this, you don't just live in this world, you're a part of it. And every step, every intention, every emotion, it's another molecule shaping the cosmos itself. You're not just a piece of creation, you are its author. Chapter 4. The Principle of Synchronicity and Quantum Connection. You might think the world runs on randomness, that everything happening around you is just a chain of coincidences, chance meetings, accidental events. But look a little closer, really look, and you'll start to notice something else entirely. The world isn't chaotic. It operates by laws. Laws you just haven't fully understood yet. Every thought, every word, every action you take is a wave. And that wave doesn't just ripple through your little corner of life. It echoes out, interacting with other waves in the field of existence. Can you imagine? You're not just a passive observer of this world. You're a co-creator of its patterns. And this is where quantum physics enters the stage. One of the most mind-bending discoveries of the 20th century was the theory of quantum entanglement. The idea that two particles, once linked, remain connected no matter how far apart they travel. Experiments have shown that when something happens to one particle, the other responds instantly, even if they're separated by hundreds or thousands of kilometers. So what does that mean for you? It means you might be entangled too, not just with people, but with the experiences in your life. You're not alone. You're part of a deeper field of connection, more profound than you can fully grasp. You may not be aware of it, but your internal state affects the external world, and it does so with the same immediacy as those entangled particles. When you focus deeply on your goal, you're tuning your vibration, and the world starts to respond. That response may not always be obvious. It won't always show up as a dramatic sign from the universe. More often, it's subtle. It's the chance encounter with someone who has exactly what you need. It's the book you happen to pick up that unlocks an answer. It's a burst of intuition that solves a problem you've been stuck on. But it is a response. It's always a response. A resonance with your focused intention. The so-called law of attraction you've heard about. It's not magic. It's science, rooted in these very principles of quantum behavior. It's not wish for it and wait. It's this. Focus with such intensity and clarity that you start moving. And in response, the universe begins to move with you, revealing paths that you would have never seen if you'd stayed passive and indifferent. That's the core truth. We create synchronicities through focused action. We activate the response of the universe through intention and movement. But just like in quantum physics, your engagement matters. It's not about meditating in the corner waiting for a miracle. It's about involvement. It's about interaction. It's about being in the process. Not just dreaming, but doing. You stop waiting. You start noticing. You start seeking. You start acting with the quiet certainty that your actions have weight, your energy, your effort. These are the tuning forks that make the world around you vibrate back. So no, the law of attraction isn't wishful thinking or a mystical fairy tale. It's a sequence of deliberate steps taken with the understanding that your focus and resolve do not go unnoticed. Just like in quantum physics, where a tiny shift in one part of the system can alter the entire structure, your clarity and energy don't just change your circumstances, they change you. And suddenly the world stops looking like a series of random events. It starts looking like what it really is, a synchronized, purposeful system. You're not separate from it. You're an active participant. And if you learn to focus, really focus, your movement will become part of a much larger quantum resonance, one that leads you exactly where you're meant to go. Chapter 5. The Power of Action. You've probably heard the phrase, "You are what you think." Sounds simple enough, right? But in reality, this idea goes far deeper than it first appears, because it's not just about thinking. It's about the power of thought. a force that can shape the reality of your life. This isn't poetic metaphor. It's a fact supported by discoveries in quantum science. But let's pause for a moment. How does this actually work? When you focus your attention on a goal, you're creating a wave of energy that radiates outward, and that wave has power. It doesn't vanish, it moves forward. Like a ripple in water, it disturbs and influences the environment you perceive as your life. You might not notice it right away, but your thoughts, your focus, and your actions are affecting the world around you. That's when you begin to shift from observer to creator. The challenges you face, they're not random. They appear for a reason, to teach you something, to be overcome. And here's the most crucial part. Your ability to change your reality isn't about passive waiting. It's not cosmic daydreaming. It's active, determined engagement with life. Let's take a simple example. You decide you want to grow in your career. You dream about it, and that's good. But those dreams are not just fluffy clouds of hope. They work through your efforts. That means you start looking for new opportunities. You take initiative. You build new skills. You discover pathways to your goal that you never saw before. You're not sitting back, waiting for the universe to hand you something. You're moving toward it. The law of attraction doesn't operate through luck or magic. It operates through energy, through effort, through directed intention. It's not about waiting. It's about moving. It's not wish for a better future. It's act like it's already on its way and make it real. You create resonance through your energy, and that resonance takes shape through action. You start building the road. You start clearing paths that didn't exist before. You create opportunities that once seemed impossible. This idea that your energy shapes your reality even finds support in Einstein's theory of relativity. He showed that space and time are connected, and that even a single object can change its experience of reality simply through how it moves through space. In the same way, your energy can alter the landscape of your life. When you act, when you fully engage, the world around you begins to shift. Opportunities start to appear, not because the world has changed, but because you have. You're no longer just observing, you're creating. Your decisions, your energy, are building the world you're about to live in. So your job is not to sit back and wait for something to happen. Your job is to realize your power and to use it. Use your thoughts, use your energy, use your determination. That is your key to transformation. But remember this, the law of attraction is not instant magic. It's a process, it's momentum. It's a steady rhythm of forward motion. You don't just ask the universe for something. You act, you show up, you move forward, and most importantly, you allow yourself to make mistakes. Because mistakes are part of the journey. And this is where it's worth repeating one more time. The law of attraction doesn't work like a spell. It's a chain of actions that begins with your internal state and ripples outward. You create opportunities through what you do, through the energy you put out. The world responds to your mindset, to your clarity, to your will, and then new horizons begin to open. Chapter 6. Space as a Mirror. It's time to face a powerful paradox. The external world is not the source of change, it's just the reflection. Physics has long understood that the observer affects the system. But how deeply do you truly realize that your inner vibration literally transforms what you perceive as objective reality? When you look in a mirror, you don't see the mirror. You see yourself. And this is the essence. The world around you is nothing more than a mirror of your internal state. Not metaphorically, but energetically, physically. Everything in this universe is a field that responds to vibration. Energy moving through that field reshapes its structure. You are the source of that energy. Physicists working with quantum systems know this well. The exact same experiment can produce different results depending on the state of the observer. This is not an opinion. It's a verified, measurable fact. Now let's apply this to life. If you're full of fear, anxiety, and resentment, you create interference in your field of perception. You literally tune your environment to feel hostile, cold, unwelcoming. Not because it is inherently that way, but because you're emitting a distorted frequency, and the world, like a mirror, reflects it right back. And the opposite is just as true. When you clear your perception of internal conflict, when you start acting from a state of clarity, trust, and awareness, the space around you responds. It has to respond because it's not separate from you. There is no boundary between you and the world. There is only the field, and within it, you are not a guest. You are a resonator. This is the heart of the true law of attraction, not to attract, but to generate, not by demanding, but by radiating. You don't force the world to change. You become the change. And space, like water, flows according to the channel carved by your vibration. The moment you begin to see life as a response to your internal state, you step out of the victim role. You no longer operate from waiting or pushing. You emit, and the world reflects, not always instantly, but always, inevitably. Chapter 7. Your reality. If we were to sum it all up, it could be expressed as a formula. The energy of your reality equals the intensity of your intention, multiplied by the purity of your consciousness. Of course, it's not a literal scientific equation, but it captures the essence of how you shape your life. Intensity of intention isn't just desire, it's focus, it's motion, it's the willingness to walk through uncertainty. To wish is not enough. What matters is choosing and staying loyal to that choice, even when nothing around you validates the path. That's when the deep energy awakens, the one that overrides the inertia of your current reality. And purity of consciousness, that's the absence of noise, the absence of inner struggle, constant doubt, comparison, shame, and guilt. It doesn't mean being perfect. It means being authentic, unburdened by the expectations of others. Purity of consciousness is like a crystal. It lets light pass through without distortion. And the purer you are within, the more direct and aligned the response from life. That's why some people spend their whole lives running into walls, while others suddenly receive what they have never even spoken aloud. In some, there's a chaos of motivation and fear. In others, clarity, coherence, and energy. And the space around them simply does what it always does. It reflects. And no, you don't have to become a perfect mystic or monk to access this. It's already built into your nature. Modern scientific discoveries are now confirming what ancient sages intuited. Everything is energy. Everything is a field. And you are a resonator of that field. You're not a passive observer. You're a co-creator. You're not begging. You're inviting space to become an extension of who you are. That is true power, not control, but conscious tuning. You are frequency. You are a wave, and you get to choose what you emit. And this entire world, however chaotic it may seem, will start to resonate in return.